I'm Lesley, and this is Perspective. As the editor of the North Coast Courier, I have the opportunity to meet so many incredible people from all walks of life. These people are world changers, and they could be your next door neighbor. This week, I'm at the Makerspace in Durban with Salt Rock resident Steve Gray. Steve is part of the Maker movement, otherwise known as the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And to give you an idea of what sort of guy Steve is, the tagline on his email is "Change the world or go home." Steve, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the Makerspace and what is the Makerspace?
The Makerspace is basically something that I started out of a search for purpose, having worked in the financial service industry and been relatively successful, but found that it wasn't really resonating with me. And looking at the three things that really kind of inspire me or motivate me, which is people, creativity, and technology, and how I can bring those three things together in one place. So that's what the Makerspace is. It's basically an experiment. It's a little bit of it's an incubator. It's a research and development lab. It's a place where anybody can make anything. And we're just trying to search for a business model to support the work we do, which is all about helping people at the end of the day, and helping people to be inspired, helping them to do things that they didn't know they could do, helping them to make things that they need for their life, whether it's just as a solution to an actual problem they have, or it's a bigger solution to an economic problem they have, and that they don't have work or they don't have the necessary means. So one of the things we do is like hustle. Whatever we can, anything interesting. These came to us through the sustainable side. So the liners are made of old banners from Lifestyle Mall.
Oh, no way.
Lifestyle donated them to us and we cut them into liners. And then this is a conference and they'll be sending them out.
When you were creating this machine that made this and getting it right and failing again and again, were there people that you were bringing alongside you? I mean, when I was reading about the Makerspace, it seemed that you've got a whole lot of students here. You've got people that are also learning how to fail well.
Yeah.
And tell me about that. How does that work?
Yeah, so we do. We take on interns. We met an intern about 4 or 5 years ago who needs the students from Mangosuthu University. They do a technical degree, they study for 2 years, they've passed the exams, and then they need a year of practical experience. It's one of their requirements. And he bumped into me at the electronics shop and he came and visited me and he said, would I be able to do my practical experience here? And I thought to myself, sheesh, I've got enough of my own problems. I don't need someone else to come, bother me. But I said, okay, well, come for a week and let's see how it goes. And obviously the guy was very muleki. He was very responsive and helpful, and he tried his best, and I could see there was something in him, so we carried on, and he ended up bringing another friend who was also very helpful, and the two of them graduated, and then the word spread and more people came the next year. And then what happened is we actually pitched at Google Impact Challenge 2018. They asked for innovation and impacts, what projects are people doing, and we pitched what we were already doing, which said just help us do it at a bigger scale, and we were one of the 12 winners of $125,000. So we ran that program in 2019, like full on, and actually in some ways, again, failure and learning, and it in some ways backfired. It wasn't as successful as the first year, because the first year was really like, if the student doesn't really add value, like, we're not interested. Like, we don't owe you anything. But by the time we're getting paid, like, in this amazing project, and we're giving everyone, tools and branded T-shirts, and they start feeling like, oh, this program's for me. I get to sit here like a student, and they're going to give me stuff. And
instead of giving themselves.
Exactly. And so the mentality can shift, and the culture can shift. So we've kind of now swung back to realizing, okay, people need to understand that this is a privilege. We can't help everyone, and so we need to partner with people who are really hungry and really willing to apply themselves. Willing to work hard. So this development was something that I personally kind of appointed Muleki to run, and he's been running it for 2 years, and it's been fantastic. So this is the laser cutting section workshop, and Here you can see they're making those labels for that notebook. This is one of our little commercial engines to try and create revenue for the makerspace. So we do kind of signage and laser cutting as a service. What I thought, my experience was like, I would want to use the laser myself. Turns out that 99% of people don't really want to use the laser themselves. They just want you to do it for them. And so that's why we have a little laser cutting business. Getting back to your question about the laser cutter and having access to equipment. Yeah. So one of the fundamental things that set me on this journey was I had a side project that I did with a friend of mine who we were doing a design kind of creative agency, and I wanted to make business cards that folded into a chair.
Okay.
And which we did, but we then wanted to make them out of stainless steel because that's cooler than cardboard. And we went to the stainless steel manufacturing laser cutting guys and we said, this is the design, like, can you do it for us? And they said, no, we can't. We're like, why not? They're like, no, because you'll have to flip it over and then everything will get messed up. We're like, no, but we'll put alignments and like, I know it's physically possible. And they're like, no, because it'll get messed up and you won't want to pay. And it was so frustrating that they won't let me drive the machine because I know exactly what I want to do with it. And that was one of those things that just like, later on I was like, that's why I want to do the makerspace, because I want to give people the keys to the machine. And that's what's different about our space, is we're not going to do it for you. I mean, if you pay us enough, we will, because that's going to help us train people. It's going to give us resources. But ultimately, the goal is to give you the keys, to train you how to use the machine. And then you see how far you can go with that thing, push the boundaries of it. Like, don't be limited to what your operator thinks is possible. Yeah, as I said, it took 2 weeks to make the first sample. And then it took a lot longer
to get it right.
Yeah. And you can see, like, everything is made. So this is 3D printed here. All these parts. So it's made here. All this is 3D printed.
So you actually made the parts for the 3D printer with 3D printers?
Yes.
Fantastic.
That's the dream of the RepRap project.
Wow.